security, just ask them directly. So how it's going to be happen the first talk? So it's not going to be normal presentation. So Vivian will just have a chat with Eric, and it's going to be open for the floor for any questions. So just if you have any questions later, pass you the mic and you can ask directly. And then we have Zidan as well. Is part of our core team for organizing this meetup. He's an attorney in Asia. You may ask earlier that I'm not using AWS, but he's a community builder, so he's talking about AWS. So as well, he will be talking about networking and security. So I'll start with Eric and Fabian. I'll ask you from here. One thing, guys, you asked, there's no people there. We're going to have it after this session. So in a small break, we will have the pizza, then we'll go back with our second talk. Okay? So I got it to you from here.
Now we know what's the main problem.
Yeah.
Cool. I see everyone's here ready. So hello. Good to see everyone. So Fabian, I'm a AWS blog. Been here for over 10 years. Still a million. And I want to introduce you to a special guest, someone that actually understands my tenure, beyond years. So let's be here for 60 years.
15 years, 9 months, and 2 days.
Engineer of Amazon and creator of the BBC. English engineer here with us today. We're going to have a very fun conversation. So I'll start out here in 15 minutes, and then we're going to hear is that we're going to get you on the action as well. We're going to open the floor. Any kind of questions, from process, people, technology, go for it. If you're thinking of building, you want some around how you actually embed security. This is the place you want to ask questions. So, without further ado, I'm going to kick this off, and we would like to start first. Just introduce yourself. Talk a bit about your career. What do you do at AWS?
Hi, is this thing on? Excellent. I'm Eric. I'm with the Amazon security team. I've been with the company just shy of 16 years, as we've already established. Years ago, I worked at a large ISP called UNET. It was the largest ISP in America at the time. And that's where I first encountered RSVP systems. Scale is what drives everything we do at Amazon. It's a unique thing. It's fun to work on. While I was at UNET, the FBI wanted to talk to the internet. And of course, you can't talk to the internet. It's not like there's one guy behind the curtain that's pulling the strings. But as the largest ISP, actually on Earth at that point, they came to UNET. So I wanted to talk to this guy who worked for the FBI named Steve Schmidt. UNET turned into WorldCom, which was a terrible place to work. I loved UNET. WorldCom was the biggest corporate fraud in U.S. history. I mean, seriously, down in flames. We used to walk in the hall and say, we're criminal. And literally, it was criminal. Like, our executive leadership went to jail. It was a bad place. And so Schmidt called me to recruit me into the FBI. So I worked there for a bunch of years. And while there, we were watching AWS from the outside. And we're like, ooh, we want that. The only way to contact AWS in 2007 was to DM Jeff on Twitter. Like, there's no sales team, there's no phone number, there's no email address. Literally, the only contact method was Jeff Barton's Twitter accounts. And we wound up having this conversation, and they flipped the script on us. They said, rather than building you a government cloud, why don't you come here and build it? And so I wound up at Amazon, and it was completely on time to build the government cloud. We have since built the government cloud, obviously, but we even launched out with it. Like, AWS existed in one region. We didn't have EBS, we didn't have availability zones, clearly didn't have VPC, and so it was not time to build a government cloud. So our first job was to put AWS in a box and ship it to customers. And this was also a terrible idea at the time. We've since done that. It's called Outpost. It's great, but that required like 15 years of investment. So we realized was that people had stuff and they would have stuff in the cloud and two needed to talk to each other. And so that's it. That's the customer problem statement. Private connectivity. I don't want to trust the internet. I want to have my stuff talk to my stuff without taking on any risk from the internet. However, if you're going to do that, then you need an aggregate. You need a cyberblock in the cloud. Otherwise, the VPN router in the data center has no clue what it's doing. And the whole thing fell out of that. Did PC for a bunch of years, and then we stood up the AWS security team. And turns out that same guy, Steve Schmidt, the one that recruited me into the FBI, he was my boss at Amazon. He became our first CISO. And the way that I joined the AWS security team is he walked down the hall, slapped me on the shoulder, and said, "Security engineer, I'm having to update the directory." I thought that I was going to be a security engineer for 12 to 18 months, get the flywheel spinning, make the organization a real thing, and then I was going to go back to my day job. That was a dozen years ago. And what I didn't realize, and what AWS did realize, is that security is part of every conversation we have with our customers. So being part of the security team was being an incredible vantage point to watch AWS grow and evolve. Oh no, audio loop. Watch AWS grow and evolve and to influence it, to be a part of building this thing.
Awesome. Very good introduction. And so, okay, you are a distinguished engineer, and this is a title that I'm working since Malaysia. I'm here. Title distinguished engineer. So what do you do in Amazon? Like, what is the responsibility of a distinguished engineer?
When I figure that out, I'll let you know. This is something that I think it's important to talk about. You look at the other distinguished engineers around Amazon. One of them is James Gosling. He created the Java programming language. What the hell am I doing with the same title as James Gosling? Like, imposter syndrome. The feeling like, what am I doing here? How did I get here? I'm gonna wake up one day, you're gonna figure it out that I'm a faker. Like, random across the industry. And so it is humbling to be in this position. Effectively, I wander around trying to make things sound less. That's largely what I do. The scope of a distinguished engineer is the entire organization. So AWS wide scope. There's a bunch of us wandering around. Anthony Limori in Nitro, an amazing group of people. And it's our job to make AWS better. I'm effectively unmanaged. My boss does not tell me what to do. I go find problems and I try to spend my time wisely, and that's where they fire me.
So very interesting, right? And you should company-wide, the whole organization, while building something, right? And you still have the title engineer. So would that actually mean that you're still writing code, shipping it out?
So the principal engineer community in Amazon has a set of tenets. And all of our senior engineers, including the distinguished engineers, are principals. And one of those tenets is exemplary practitioner. Trying to be an exemplary practitioner. I don't always make it, but I am a practitioner, and that's incredibly important. We don't want disconnected people wandering the halls. My knowledge ages incredibly poorly. Like, this is a cloud. It's like cloud years. It's, 7 years for every year in the real world. And so if I'm working off of old news, if I'm working off the way things were 3, 5, 10 years ago, English. And I've got this fancy title, I've put a bunch of trust in the company, so people are going to believe what I say, and I'm going to be wrong. And so it's incredibly important that everyone that has an engineer in their name and their title stay connected to the detail. I don't code much. I couldn't be coding much. Like, I have the time to dedicate to it. But I do read a tremendous number of security tickets. I participate in our security response processes. I do application security reviews. I am in the trenches with the security engineers doing the security engineer job. Not full time, I have other duties, but you've got to have dirt under your fingernails or you become disconnected and obviously dangerous.
project. So let's just go into some of the services that you participated in creating the VPC. What involvement do you have there? Was it coding or was it primarily around design?
So I did ship code in VPC. Thankfully, it's all gone now. A long time ago. But the part of the process that I really enjoy is service definition. Like looking back, I'm highly confident that we got VPC mostly right, largely because it's still there. Like people like it, they use it, the model has survived, and that's intensely gratifying. But looking forward, it's not clear. Like it's not obvious these were the right decisions. This was the way that people should consume virtual networking in the cloud. There are a lot of heated debates about what we should do. And trying to put that in all, like the underlying infrastructure of VPC is incredibly flexible. We could make any presentation that we want. We chose to make something that's, kind of a 50% model of networking. Like there aren't any Q-tech, you don't have to log into the router. You could have put hardcore and made you get your CCIE in order to build a cloud network. That would have been a idea. But there was also a faction that really wanted us to get rid of all of the muck. Like just stop it. Like everything should be directly connected. All I need is a name that I can connect to. As long as the packets forward, we're good. And why do you even need subnet? Like you can't use firewalls anymore. You've got security groups. In talking to customers and in thinking through how people are actually going to build, it turns out that maintaining some of the traditional concepts was incredibly important. It enabled adoption. And amusingly, one of the things that really tilted it in favor of that argument was we had a large customer, one of our very first VPC customers, and their provisioning system had been built in their data centers, which they controlled completely. There was deeply baked in assumption all networks are /24. They're like, we can't provision boxes unless they're on /24. So you need to make a /24 subnets. And we're like, no, we don't. There's the APIs. You can do it yourself. At customer, Amazon.com. And so it came out that we had fragile networking assumptions. It was easier to map those assumptions than to reach everyone. That did it. And so I love that process of figuring out, like, what is it that customers need? How much do you need to expose? How complicated does it need to be? How much do you simplify? We don't always get it right. We have to get it wrong. But like figuring that out is awesome.
Sounds like from day one, you're really talking to customers, agents, get all those specifications, features that they require to build at VPC.
Yeah, so we've got a set of leadership principles, and the first time I saw the leadership principles, they're available on the website. You can Google for Amazon leadership principles. I thought it was management double talk. I thought that it was I'll pretend for this, but I'm never going to talk about this again. And actually, it's the way we run the company. Every year, I get a performance rating and a leadership rating. And when you look at the leadership principles, it's supposed to be an unordered set. But the first leadership principle is customer obsession. We work backwards from our customers. And the first time I heard someone say that, I'm like, yeah, of course. I mean, we're like, no, really, we work backwards from our customers. And when I was introduced to VPC, that connectivity, that's the fundamental customer problem statement. And it's so easy to say now with all of this perspective, but it was not obvious that was what we needed to build when we were building it. It took a while talking to people, understanding the use cases, understanding the challenges before we got there. But all that time that we spent gave us confidence that we were working on something valuable. And so it was way cheaper than flying around trying multiple times.
I have to say that I am very grateful where you are right now. If you are a VPC user, you see how seamless things work. It's
okay, actually, they're all VPC users. Because we finally killed these two clouds. So it's done, 100% guaranteed.
So, even though that go back in time where you were you always been a security engineer, but at day one, AWS, what kind of challenges did you have setting up AWS, and embedding security into it?
So In absolute terms, the AWS security organization is gigantic. But in relative terms, I mean, AWS itself is quite large. We have many software developers. But even from the beginning, we were required to grow so linearly with the business. If the team doubled in size, we did not get 100% headcount boost. And so we've always struggled to figure out how to become more efficient, how to look for more value per engineer invested. And that's how we think about it. Our most consumed resources are humans, our engineers. It's hard to hire talented, passionate people. And that's true everywhere. And so every single one of their hours that we spend is an hour we will never spend on anything else. So figuring out how to get the most out of every single hour invested has been a constant ongoing struggle. One of the things that helps is automation. We have more software developers in the security team that use security engineers and that's design. But another thing that helps is by building a culture of security across the company. And this took years. I mean, the first time I showed up and said, I'm from security, I'm here to help, people laughed at me. Now you show up and you say, I'm here from security, I'm here to help. And people actually believe you, like, we are actually here to help. How many of you have to take an annual security training? Compliance mandated computer-based security training. Do you love it? Is it awesome? Do you look forward to it every year? The Amazon internal security training is 7 minutes long. It's funny. There's no quiz at the end, and it meets all of the compliance requirements. Everyone needs these stupid things. Like, no one wants to sit through it. And realize, like, just for goodwill. How many of you have learned something from one of those annual mandated security trainings? Like, it is a struggle to remain conscious. And so, like, we're not accomplishing our goals. We're not educating people. We're turning them off. Just trusting that training, making our own. Like, it's a little thing, but it feels good in the community. Responsiveness. Responsiveness is huge. I may not be able to solve your problem. I may not be able to solve your problem quickly. But if you hear back from a human, like, you cut us a ticket and the human says, I hear you. I am here to help. My name is. I am not an autoresponder. Like, it builds such good on the community. And just doubling down on that, keeping pushing on that. And get to the point where everyone believes us when we say we're here to help.
So, going into another question here, I've spoken to quite a number of customers, and they tend to tell me that finding good security professionals are become the common, especially if anyone here, aspiring to become a cybersecurity professional, and become a good security professional.
So I think there's two things that make a good security professional. One is an innate curiosity. You don't care the network, you care how it works. You want to know what happens when I shove an extra 1,000 characters in here, or I put in a negative number, or I click the button 1,000 hertz, or whatever. Like, there's an innate curiosity about the innards of something. Good security people pop the hood or the bonnet, I don't know which one you use here, and they look underneath and they're like, what does that thing do? What happens when I do this? It's not necessarily someone that has the knowledge is educated, like, we can fix that. It's that they have that innate curiosity. And the other one is a willingness to deal with ambiguity. There are a lot of engineers that work at Amazon that I respect, that I like working with. They get deeply uncomfortable when they don't know what's going on. They don't know what the next step is. That's basically what incident response is. Like, something has gone off, there's an alarm, the red light is flashing, like, people are in a panic. What do I do next? There's an ambiguity. If you have those two things, and if you have those two things, then we can fix everything else. Like, none of the technologies that I use now existed when I went to college. The world has completely changed. There was no cloud. Like, the machine I used to graduate from college had 32 megabytes of RAM. Like, I partitioned my hard drive and I downloaded Slackware Linux onto 5.25-inch floppies. And I regretted doing it because the 3.5-inch floppies held 10% more per floppy. It would have been fewer disks by the 3.5-inch floppies. All of that is empty garbage at this point. None of that is useful knowledge. So everything that I do on a daily basis, I learn all on the job. I teach people. Like all of the specifics, all of the details, is that innate curiosity. And so people say, how do I get a job on a security team? The best advice I have to get a job on a security team. Like I just say, we have more software developers than we have security engineers. The security team needs everything. Like the best way to learn is to spend time with security people. Go get a desk near the security team. Go out to lunch with them. Like seriously, like just go immerse yourself in security. You're here, like you operate, you say, I like AWS. That's also a technology that needs in college. Like almost certainly you don't talk yourself all sorts of technologies in the course of your career. This is enough one as long as you've got that innate curiosity.
I hope you are inspired by that. For me, I always thought that I needed to have like a degree, like in security. In fact, university actually do provide that. What we are doing now is still very thing. As long as you have that curiosity, always willing to take risks, break things, and being okay. To sit next to the security team, it sounds like you can explore.
And the club is great for that. Like you can watch a whole bunch of stuff, completely trash it, realize there's no way you're going to fix it, just turn it off. And like the afternoon's fun costs you like $5. Like the club is amazing for that. I'm boring. I went to a good technical university. I got a computer science degree. I got an engineering job. That's the simple path. I like working with weird people. I like it when we have people on staff that have taken a non-traditional path through the industry because they bring a different perspective. They have different life experiences, they look at problems differently, and getting their input makes our solutions better. And so you don't need a technical degree. You get a technical degree. I was lucky, but it absolutely isn't required. And in fact, I like having people that can make that effort.
I hope you're inspired by that. That's awesome. So I'm going to pivot a little. Anyone here from the security team who works in security here?
That's the account.
Sorry?
Does the degree in IT security count?
I think so. Yeah, and as a security professional, today you are doing this in your day-to-day. Common thing that actually happens about security organizations may have difficulties demonstrating value to the business because ultimately you are not contributing to applications. You don't know what does that happen. I've got the kind of feedback as actually had conversations. So how do we handle this within AWS?
So everyone is worried about the sudden business extinction events. There are relatively few examples that talk about IT security, but they're all terrible and they all do exactly the same thing. There's no math that has to be happening. And that's not how things break. It is highly unlikely that you're going to come to work tomorrow and it's going to be the end of your company. Now, I say this out loud. One of you is going to have a terrible day tomorrow. I'm very sorry that I jinxed you. But the reality is that things break constantly. Systems on the fringe of the network get broken into, patches don't get deployed on time, and the organization learns, okay, if I do this up front, it's expensive. But if I don't do it up front, and I have to clean it up afterwards, it's way more expensive. And so the organization learns, and you track them. This is how many times you did it right, this is how many times you didn't do it right, and you try to shift that to the left. We have interactions with security researchers. The absolute worst email that you can get is, hello, my name is blank, and I'm a researcher at the University of blank. Like, I don't know what's in the rest of that email, it's going to ruin my week. And we track how many of us we get. We track how hard they are to remediate. And those numbers go down, and we show value. But fundamentally, it is not a quantifiable thing. We do a lot of measure the work of security. How many tickets do we have? How responsive are we to those tickets? How long does it take to resolve them? Like, those are things we can measure. We do measure them. They indicate how well the team is running. But what is the provide to the business? I don't know. How secure are we? 7. Like, I don't know. I can't predict the future. We don't get to fork the versus what if. Like, okay, we're going to look at the system unpatched, and we're going to wait a week and see what happens, and then we're going to hit the rewind button, and patch it, and see what happens. Like, we don't get to do that. And so, fundamentally, it's an act of faith. Our leadership, Andy sees on every agreement to say security jobs grow. It's delightful because one work in security and we started coming from zero. And so that is why our security team is effective. We have the faith of our executives. They didn't just give it to us. It took us years to earn it, of continually improving and delivering and being useful. But I don't know how to measure it. I don't know how to give you a quantified answer.
Yeah, that's the most interesting thing. So as I speak to security professionals, things that I get to, one quote that tends to come up a lot is that you can never be too secure, and you should always be on your toes, right? You know, as a security professional. So it comes up quite a lot in my conversations, and then with that, you and I do be more secure, and I'm investing more time trying to secure yourself. And you, man, I'm trying to follow an ocean here. So how do you overcome that? You know, like imagine that you always have that type of thinking, you know, like there's so many vulnerabilities being reported, right? And how do you stay on top of that?
So you can be too secure. Like, least privilege is maximum effort. I have seen people lovingly handcraft the whole line IAM policies. It's shrink wrapped to exactly what that process needs right now. The problem is that no one understands that policy. And so one of two things is going to happen, because the system is going to evolve. It's going to require additional privileges at some point in the future as you have functionality. Either it's going to take 6 months to ship a feature because you need 17 layers of review on that policy, or someone's going to be asked to do it and put everything in there so you can get the job done. Neither is a good result for the business. And if you have a slightly less shrink-wrapped policy that was only a couple dozen lines that a mere mortal can understand, then that policy is going to get updated. You may have good security for the life of the thing, rather than me security for 15 minutes and new ones what for the remainder. So security is not about being secure or not being secure. Security is about risk management. It is about understanding the risks the business face and making sure the business understands the risks that the business face. They're not my decisions to make. I absolutely have opinions. I'm incredibly good at forming opinion and giving them to other people. But the important thing is not what I think of risk. It's that leaders understand what that risk is, how likely it is. And, you can't give it to 17 digits, but you can talk about similar things. You can talk about perils in the industry and making sure that the business understands the risks they face so they make good decisions. It's not our job to make those decisions. It's our job to inform the business to get them to make those decisions. And the answer is not always security.
It sounds like we are a good security engineer to be able to communicate that effectively to leadership.
It is absolutely helpful. We have security engineers that run the gamut. We have a couple of people that are reverse engineers, like they dream an x86 machine, but like give them a hex up of a binary and start reading it without this. Like they're amazing. And there's some of them that honestly, like they're super deep. They don't care about broad influence. They don't care about communicating with executives. They care about the deep technical work. Right? Like we like having those people around. We need an interpreter. Like we need people that can talk to them and can go outside. So it's an absolute requirement. But the job of a security engineer is to make sure that we make good management decisions. So good communication skills, verbal and written, are absolutely helpful. Like someone on the team needs to have them.
Very insightful. Thank you for that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pause on my end. I just want to open up to the floor. You know, does anyone have kind of questions, aiming to people, process technology for it? And we'll pass the mic along. level of clearance.
My level of clearance is less.
Should we look ahead? How do you get funding for your city budget when you go to the
So we never waste the crisis, but make all the sunshine.
just want to know how persuasive and what's the value buying when you go up to this management committee to get the funding in terms of percentage, because most of the time the infra guys will get a biggest budget, right? To some of the business people to be legal for the business, and cybersecurity is always at the top. So just want to get your opinion.
So again, we have tremendous executive sponsorship, which makes our lives a lot easier. I know how lucky I am to have leaders that say things like this, but it's like I was saying earlier. We are not here for security. We're here for the business. We're here to deliver features to the customer. The easiest way to secure the cloud would be to turn it off, like just pay the electric bill, stop having security issues. It provides no value to customers, it doesn't delight anyone, except the security people. And so you learn over time. You have it can't be a fairy tale. You know, one time one of my friends told me they had unhatched box in my pot and took them 6 months to clean it up, and they just went for forensics, and that's a fairy tale. Like it happens somewhere else. Security issues happen inside your walls. Track how much they cost you. As you apply preventative measures, track how much they cost you, and not down to the penny. Just a rough order of magnitude. You know, if you remember that time last November, I mean, we were in like 2 months at that team's time. That was pretty expensive. Then you have some comparisons, and they're real. They happen here. It's not a fairy tale. And so you go and you talk to the business. You say, look, I don't want to spend this money because I'm a security guy and I like doing security things. I want to spend this money because it's cheaper to do it this way. We get a better outcome faster if we do it this way. And it's not completely quantifiable. It's an ongoing conversation. Your leaders need to have trust in you. They need to learn themselves to experience what are not acceptable. But it all boils down to doing it the secure way is cheaper and faster. And if that's not true, for whatever reason in your business, then maybe you shouldn't get that bump. I've done a lot of security engineers that have a lot of super cool projects that should not have gotten funded because they didn't provide enough value to the business. So that's how we think about it. It is not easy. Like they scrutinize all of our requests for funding. We literally just went through the annual planning process. I got up at 6 o'clock in the morning to join the meeting in Seattle Tuesday morning here, which was our meeting with Adam about the annual security plan, and they scrutinized everything. It did not work. You do want to ask a question?
Yeah. Do you have any hacks that you were able to explain the management actual level of the they would face something?
So it's hard to talk about threat level. Like people keep coming up with scales, and the U.S. had this thing where like we had colors, and they never lowered it below yellow. And I knew that if I ever went and something bad didn't happen, they would be a joke. So just stayed yellow for years until we got rid of it. So I think it's false perception. I think it's hard to quantify. But when we talk with our leaders about threats, we talk just about the threats. Like we have seen this actor group doing this thing. We've seen this nation state actor doing this thing. Here are the techniques that they use. This traveler, this person for this reason, deploying there, this person for this reason. And going into detail makes it real. It makes it great rather than like threat level. So that's the way we talk about it internally.
So you use like the going into details practice.
Yeah. And what worked for us, like Amazon leaders tend to dive into the details whether you want them or not. and once you just give them the details up front. That's the culturally appropriate thing. Cool.
Eric, one of the, you mentioned that your team size in the beginning didn't necessarily grow linearly. How did you really identify what efficiencies, like how to make things more efficient? How do you quantify like how much output is done through the engineering hours?
So initially, we were just flailing around. Like, how do you build a cloud security team? I don't know. No one's ever done it before. Like, we made stuff up. Things that didn't work, got rid of them. Things that worked, we doubled down on them. But over time, our work settled out into a number of streams. So we've got a security operations team, and there's some number of tickets that they deal with. And so there's, and we track all of these metrics, and deciding which ones you take goals on is a long, complicated topic. Well, how many security engineers we have for service team software? We know how many security engineers we have for deferred revenue. We know how many security engineers we have per ticket. And so you can track all of these, and you watch them for some time, and you argue about them, and you try to figure out what's most meaningful to the business. And then you pick one of them, and you drive that metric in the right direction. We have an application security team. And there's a set of things that must go through an application security review. Major features, new services, identity dealing with crypto authentication, like pretty obvious. And so that number has been up and to the right over the past years. And so our AppSec team has been up and to the right. But we know how many AppSec engineers we have per review, per feature, per whatever. And again, you argue about them, you decide which one to drive, you drive in the right direction. And you just do that again and again and again across your different lines of business. As a result of a desire to drive down the cost of AppSec, AppSec is our single greatest cost. It's totally worth it. Like, we're not going to get rid of AppSec, but super hard to scale. Like, AppSec engineers are defined, and it's an expensive process. Those are service teams, and so we actually stood up a separate tooling team trying to automate the AppSec engineers away. And so we have some notion of how many AppSec engineer hours they've saved. And so now we've got another metric to drive. It gets kind of meta. Like, on a per software developer tooling basis, we want to automate more AppSec hours per year than we did last year. And you just rinse and repeat and rinse and repeat. These things aren't linear over the long term. Like, you can only squeeze so far before you get diminishing returns. And so you watch out for that, and you start arguing about what's the next metric to drive. But that's largely how we think of efficiency. And that is not a process that we can do overnight. There's also a lot of flipping around and dead ends as we came up with that.
The fundamentally is close. That's what I'm seeing here. You have a metric, and then you decide, whether you continue, you stop, pivot.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything is iterative. Like, I've never built anything beautiful. Like, everything that I've built is Frankenstein and monster, because you built something, you thought you knew where it was going, and it's that it's a bit of customer feedback, and you take a turn, and somehow it's an idea and you layer it on. I have built magnificent things, but they've all evolved. They've never launched beautiful.
I think the question here, so security is about managing risk. How do you deal with the unknown?
So that's the ambiguity I was talking about earlier. And one of the common questions that security professionals get asked is, what keeps you up late at night? I hate that question. My answer is nothing. I sleep at night. Like, if there's something that worried me so much that I couldn't sleep, I would fix it. Like, I would get people together. The Amazon thing to do is write a document or meetings or write documents. Like, I write a document, I get the right people together. Like, this is unacceptable. I can't sleep at night. And either we would agree that it needs fixing, that it's that urgent that we need to do something about it, or someone would convince me that it wasn't that urgent and I would correct it. You have to become comfortable with that. I've seen a lot of security professionals burn out because like there's nothing out there, but rocking back and forth can't sound like like you can't live your life that way. And part of it is having faith in your teammates. Like I am not the AWS security team. I am a small part of the AWS security team. We have a great organization that help out. I'm here this week. I'm going to not be on this planet as far as the HQ is concerned. I'm 12 hours from home. So like, I'm not answering email in a timely fashion. I'm not keeping up because I'm in customer meetings all day. And the cloud's still there. The AWS security team is fine. And so I don't know. I have not struggled with the ambiguity way I've seen other people struggle with it, and I don't know why. I'm okay with it. The world is uncertain, and every so often my pager goes off and my weekend gets wrecked. But like that's part of the fun of the job, and I'm okay with it. I don't know if that was a satisfying answer or not, but
Questions? Right.
Could you confirm that hackers were trying to make the system?
yeah, absolutely. So we both have pen testers and red teamers. Pen testers work under a scope statement of work, and we use both contract pen testers and internal employee pen testers. And their job is to make sure that the thing that they're testing is up to a bar. And then the red teamers are attackers. They're trying to think through like, given what an external party could discover, they do recon, they make a plan, etc. But absolutely, it's one of the things that being an engineer has taught me. And again, I'm an engineer. I'm an engineer. It does not matter if I have an elegant proof that it should have worked. And I can't complain to the professor that I got a bad grade and I deserve better. All that matters is how it actually works in the real world. And so we are all living with a whole bunch of assumptions. A great recent dish example is Spectre meltdown. Like literally the entire world was wrong about the way computers worked. And if you're not testing those assumptions, if you're not validating that the system as deployed does what you think it does, then you're living in a fantasy world. You're not actually dealing with the real world. And it's going to fall apart on you. You have to check the data plane. You have to verify the system as deployed. And so we absolutely have those people. It is our job to make them return zero findings. We have to get there.
Do they operate on a live system when they have a
So it's the cloud. So in many cases, we can make playgrounds. Like it's super easy to photocopy something. If you're doing infrastructure as code, you just stamp another one out. They go in web top, you track the whole place. We like those engagements. There is no substitute for testing production. Like the system as deployed, the only thing that is the system as deployed. Everything else is going to be different in some way, and you don't know if it's material or not. And so we have a very carefully built set of rules of engagement that the red teamers and the pen testers follow. And there's a lot of red teamers out there who value themselves based on the size of their career that they make. And this is the wrong mentality. Your value is not the size of the hole that you made. Your value is how much you fixed. Like that's the goal at the end, is to make the system secure. And so there's two sides to the contract. So the rule is, once you have high confidence, you get to an objective in production. Stop. You got the fact that you didn't actually get there. The contract for us is we have to believe you. We have to treat that finding with the right severity. The fact that you're not waving customer data under my nose doesn't mean that it isn't an important finding and you don't have to respond immediately. To treat the red teamers with respect and believing that they actually could have gotten there, and working with them to map the rest of that chain and to understand what systems are vulnerable to is incredibly important. And once you build that trust, then the red teamers no longer feel like they need to actually get all the way to planting the flag in order to show value. And again, the whole goal here is to make this system better, not to reflect. Testing production is tough. We gotta do it. Back there.
Wait.
Hello. Thanks, Eric. I have a pretty simple question. What is security? How do we consider this system secure or it's not?
This is the secure, unless you turn it off. But that's really an incredibly important realization. Like, we are not going to make this secure. Whatever this is, like, there are real world analogs. Actually, the physical world, people are way more mature here. Like, safes are rated for some number of minutes under some threat model. So you're not allowed to ignore it because code entry safe will last this long. And if you allowed to use power tool, the safe will last that long. No one advertises the safe as secure. They tell you, like, this is what it's designed to withstand. And we have a lot to learn from those people. Like, this software package is neither secure nor insecure. It has a whole bunch of properties. And if you use it this way, maybe it's appropriate. If you use it that way, maybe it's not. And so this is the ambiguity again. It's key. Like, there's not a boolean. And being able to explain to business people, to potentially non-technical business people, like, this is how concerning this risk is. This is why I think it's not acceptable. And it's a human problem. It's been controlled over time. If you're checking full of the sky is falling all the time, you have no credibility. Like, one time the sky is actually falling, you're ineffective. And so it's keeping that communication going. It's earning that trust. And it's making sure the business understands they make good decisions. But I'm under no illusions. Every single thing I've ever worked on can be broken. In many cases, I know how to break it. It's just unlikely attempt that it's not mitigating. But again, it's after no count. Like, none of us saw that coming. The entire world was wrong about the way speculative execution works. And we scrambled, we fixed it. Like, the cloud's still here, computers are still here, we're still on the internet. But it is the remaining of my career is understanding, illuminating risk, and communicating with the business.
Thank you.
I'm gonna wrap up. Cool. So I'm gonna wrap up, and just last question from me to you is if you have one takeaway, you want to convey, what would it be?
Security people who want to be security people. I don't like gatekeepers. I don't like there being phone bar. If you want to be a security person, go be a security person. If you tried being a security person and you don't like it, don't be a security person. It's fine. But like the way to get into this, if this is what you want to do, just to go do it.
Yeah. Awesome. So thank you so much for sharing, your insights and also your experience, like being part of the Amazon journey. So thank you, for being here today. I know you had a very, very busy schedule, in Malaysia, and hope you enjoy the rest of the week. So thank you everyone. We're gonna adjourn for pizza.
Good news and you. So support you, Fabian and Eric, for this benefit. If you guys want to have this type of sessions, please let us know. This I think first time we do it this way. So I think it's the no presentation, just hard work. So thank you Eric again. Thank you so much to Fabian and Fahim for us connecting as well with great people.
Thank you all. I have been pleasantly surprised by Malaysia. Everyone has been absolutely delightful, and every single person I've met has wanted to share their food with me. I don't remember the names of the dishes. I haven't seen them all yet, but it's been an incredible trip. Thank you.
Okay, so the good news was that I think this is the most attendance we got so far. So after settle, so thank you guys for attending. Thanks for the new faces. The bad news, we don't have enough for everyone. But every team already ordered, so we have to take now. We're going to Zidan first. Then after that, we get more some pizza and we do some networking as well. And so we have to change the schedule. Okay, so. We introduced you to Zidan, the second talk for Zidan, right? So Zidan gave a talk last time on how to build an SRE, best practices, and etc. And now Zidan will give a talk on networking and security. So what you from Zidan?
Hello. So after this bad news, are you guys okay? Everybody is agree? So today we're gonna talk about very important topic. A different what we will give you. My name is Zidan. How to basically after it's also others in the group. Let's see who you are. Who's here, developer? Network engineers? One thing. So we actually study developers, but not so we know how to build it, right? And we know how to build things that we have. We build the things that are easier, lot of services, microservices, databases, memory store, everything, right? We know how to build that correct. So that we can represent our clients or our customers is just one way to go to our infrastructure as a request, and then another way to say, okay, we are receiving resume. That's the best that we can do, right? But it is really what okay, so someone asked us, or study this law, we always look at that. We are not getting that. Good. We look to our infrastructure, those time from what's good. Because we present that as online. But is that really online? And do we have any control there? Today we're going to answer this question. We're going to answer this one. So, after this one, we'll put that time in bed and try to understand what's going on there.
To understand that, we need to learn a couple of things, right? So we need to learn TCP, HTTP, UDP, PGP, product, all the things, right? But I'm not talking about everything today. We'll talk about one wide web. And the core principle is HTTP first, HTTP2, and then that we go deep and we will deep dive into that. We will talk about DNS, TCP, IPv, IP version 4, the IP version 6, a little bit. But we will deep dive into HTTP2 and the which is the two protocols of our project. Okay, so what happens in the browser? You open your browser, you write, for example, www.rs.com, you want to buy something. Who knows how it works?
The entrance is all good, right? The entrance is really good.
Good. Good.
Pretty much.
Okay. Okay, we will start with the basic thing. This is just a selection, we go through it. But we will deep dive into the HTTP protocol. But just, I know everybody knows that. But we'll just go through it quickly. So what will happen when you browse our website? For example, we put so everything will happen here. Then will open connection, it will first start, and then it will return, and then more will come. Right? I'm going to show that quickly. Then it will go our message, and it will transfer real address for Amazon.com. Amazon.com is user friendly, right? But what we need is machine friendly IP. We go to DNS server. That is, for example, is your telephone number. DNS is the telephone. So when we go to IP, one IP I can be. The other one I cannot be. It's too huge. Okay, right? Cannot be. So what is the difference between those? The first one is IP version 4. This is the fourth version of protocol. Was introduced in 1980. One was the fourth version. This is the one that actually makes the internet exist today. Most of our data, unfortunately, is running on IP version 4. But then it has a CID application starting from 0 to 0. And we find the system. In reality, one is okay. The total number of IPs is 4.3 billion IP. Sounds like kind of huge, but this were really close when we don't talk about the IP version. I think, but we want to the next version. So this one is reduced and intended to replace IP version 4 in December 1998. Long time ago. It's only more plus 30 years. Then it became an example for July. It's a huge number of IPs. It has calculated I suppose 3.4 multiplied by 10 power 78. It's a huge number. Okay. So shall we use it? Shall we use it? Use that what we need to use it. According to that, this is the campus that using IP version. So you take everyone is adapted except this tiny area here is not yet deployed. So I guess it's ready. Then according to them, how many of the requests go to come is ID emergencies. All it after the last 3 years of that ID, we already have 45. The other reason why we don't use it is actually now on the ID version 4 will be able starting from February. So any public ID that you have inside your BDC, this one will not be enabled, even if you are not using it, it was great. If you are using it, you will pay. Very often, 3.75% per month. So it's a good reason. Okay, so AI version 4 and version 6, what happened to the other things like we have AI 4, version 1, 3, 4, so the actual item is the item from the almost all was experiment, never goes public. And then IP version 5 is was designed to internet protocol, kind of internet of things we have. And actually, it's the same information like version 4, so they decided to the games in the Okay, now we have our IP. IP version 4, IP version 6. Then the second thing, we need to build a connection between upline, which is in that case is the browser, and our browser. So the browser connection. This TCP connection can always in the standard port, which is 18 by default, not secure, port for 3, which is the secure one. And then, yeah, I mean, we can have happen. Just I'm saying, synchronize message. I say, use number again. This is the sequence number that I'm going to use. I'm going to say any sequence number will be built up. Then the server the same message is synchronized sequence. I think that's one. The client and the client will say, okay, I acknowledge that I have received this. We are ready to communicate. So they are ready to communicate over TCP, which is established. But today, as the com is not actually TCP, right? So we need to call in another technique that how we encrypted, we continue to open a TLS centric. We need to exchange the secret key that we don't have. Okay, right? This process is very complicated. Right, the person find message, which will actually use the details for the server, which TLS version that I have, which TLS version that I support, which is cyber version that I support, and it will send it to the server. But then will okay, from the support till 1.2, 1.3, and then the price support yes, version 1.2. I choose one version of TLS, one version of cyber, and then I send it back. So in a message called hello, with the name and the server keys. Then the two lines was not encrypted. So you didn't have any encryption here. The third one is encrypted. What happens? The client will verify the certificate. Okay. I'm communicating now to the server that I'm taking to communicate, as I have the team started, which is the design. Then sometimes share, sometimes keys share. This will be implemented with the public key that the server has shared. Then the time will share, okay, this message also then it will send it to server, server will take that and it will be detected. Now the key has been shared, I'm ready to communicate with that after we key that all record, but this has been exchanged between those client and server with a secure way. As a communication as well as now we have one ticket to communicate with, and all the rest will be able to everything. Okay. What we have to do is, once we have the communication, we are ready to send the first request. Okay, integration can give us three things, three important things. Encryption, message cannot be by encryption. The same integrity, message cannot be altered, so no one can verify. And then third one is authentication. I'm communicating to the server that I did it to. Because I have this certificate which is signed. I know that I also have it because again, as you guys know that, just do that. Okay. So after the authentication, I just throw out the DNS because it's a new ECB is our account like that. But the now the problem is the first was which needs to be of the this send to the server, we get back. The browser would process that report. Okay, I want to construct the documents object model. Construct in the okay. But when we do that, the browser will say, I need some resources to display the version away. So I need more records. I need to send more. I need to get some CSS, right? I need to get some JavaScript. So I think another thing was I need CSS, JavaScript, images, display page. Then I will get this playing page, and the one will continue doing that in the background until it's rendering the code. This is actually from our example from Amazon. What they do here, you look at first request, which is because they have to use take time. TCP connection take time, and TLS junction take time. So we cannot do anything before that. Then we cannot do anything before the initial request, because the initial request will be what we do, right? Take that. The other node, the vendor it has 75 records. 75 records to make the whole bit. Okay? Just take note of that. We'll come back to that. Because we're going to deep dive into HTTP. This protocol is very it's actually not we can compete with another right? So the first version of HTTP was 0.9. It actually issued 1995. It intended to send hypertext documents. So it was intended to send hypertext documents for the image, no idea, nothing else. So just hypertext document. And then I mentioned the TCP connection because this is reliable. I cannot lose anything in the middle, right? The communication should be reliable. I need to send request and get 4 requests without losing any packet. And TCP can do. And then send documentary and then support this only with one method. If you look into that, it's a good thing from the people that invented that protocol. Because they have decided that we have more methods in the future. So they started to get this is actually very good. So cannot for good people. And no concept of experience. There is no experience. It's just a get request, we send it, and they receive the response. Right? Yeah. So opening connection, sending request, and closing the connection. Then we start to realize that okay, HTTP was actually very successful, like instant success. After a few years, the number of reached 9,000. Now this year actually was down to 51,000, which is very huge. You guys now can see this number is very low, right? But at that time it was very huge to have a bit over this HTTP connection. So today I'm sharing two main insights. This is very huge. So you start to use HTTP or want to see the usage of this protocol. We cannot use it anymore for document only, right? So people started to realize we can send more than the document. We can send media, images, all the things. And it was too late to repent. So we cannot repent because we are using it. And the number is not relevant anymore. We cannot change. With that protocol, actually, we get a lot of features. A lot of the standard has been written in that document. So we add more levels like header post. The header was introduced the first time in that protocol. And the object also telling you how much response like if you have success, you don't have that document in this web server. Something goes wrong, something goes wrong. So one was and time to have the activity of the just use it was really right. And this happened because we allow this activity. So we have one header and then the type of game, what type of picture, what type of this is it image, it is and it's still simple. Just login connection, sending the request, get this page, then login the connection, waiting for other services, login connection, get the page, login connection. So we start to realize nothing. Because it's not yeah. So we are smart, right? You know what is the problem? The problem here, we are keeping closing the connection or the connection which is consuming a lot of time and trying to into a lot of time, right? So closing the connection was a big deal. So I think you are something still in a second, but we'll have that most of the cases. So H3 is actually we didn't wait too much. It's 9 months 1.0 and it's we are smart. So I think the benefit of that is having keep a live connection. So I will not close the connection. Keep the connection open. I don't want to waste time of closing of the connection. Right? The second thing with some server which is I think the IP for now is my country was you need to send the with the request. So if one is split to be one server, one IP, one request is going to this server, right? So we can have two that the same server, and we can associate with this positive, which is not about to keep the greater form. New methods were introduced, both options the test and then better cache methods. So we have to use cache control which would be time, which is our browser to cache assets inside the project. So we tell the cache is for how and then the can use it not request it again. S3 properties to allow you to move from this place. Okay, we can see this. Because I want to doing what we need from them. So I'm moving away. And it was very simple. For all the connection, we start to get the first request, right? And then the browser starting to practice along the object and roughly the identity in order to display the page for I remember. Then that was right. But this result is checking one by one. So I have the connection file, but I'm waiting. I have a queue behind this. I need to say because it's and then in other things one by so it's something is looking from picking off the sources at once, right? So this problem is very obvious. And according to HDR, we are now having 100 time requests. If not to this one, to render one, we need to take 100 requests, right? It's too huge. With that protocol, with that limitation, you cannot wait, right? So waiting for the request of power and power record the response and then sending the request again is very fast, right? And that's not important workaround. So I want the two workarounds. One of them is using multiple HTTP connection. I need calling multiple connections. Then I can send the request in there. The other one makes your potential large request. Instead of having more issues, I can have two of them. The next one is not real. All the time, which is one browser, and some will have limitation for this connection. Each connection per origin, and how we find the origin is domain name plus the number. Is how we find the origin. In every origin like that, the browser can opt for a single connection. But we are 100 records, right? We still not enough for us six connection only, right? To smart engineers are smart. So we have already this by the domain and the board number. I will start it by domain. Domain starting instead of having one domain, I will have more than one domain. One for CSS, one for JavaScript, one for image. Then they can work together and each one can have 6 connections. Which okay, works fine. But this one Right? Okay. So this example comes from Amazon. How Amazon is actually using the same strategy Amazon.com. So the first one can have the content, update 100, and then Amazon.com. Then you use this domain policy, domain policy, and then it's a domain for FLS. And then there's domain for media. So this shortening the domain. Instead of having one domain, we will have double domain, so we can open multiple connections. To get still but it's fine. But you have to go back from that strategy. Right? We offer a lot of connections. So this connection, additional overhead is the one side, on the server side as well. The second thing, authenticity should be start. You can see perhaps you check or start the function. There's 4 other functions to start the function. If that consumes well, cannot be started by or can in both ways, which is also it's not balanced, it's not balanced. Take time to order the connection and so on. And there is a connection of it because we have applied general methodology. We didn't have it requires such and proxy. The other way is make fewer but potential larger questions. A lot of people are using that, including Amazon. So I'm okay with the expression. I will have one line 5 rupees. For them, and then one image, which is all the icons, all the images will be inside this image, and then I will handle it with CSS. Like if I wanted to save this, I will have a position in the CSS. If it's successful, you will get back. So this one is coming from Pepper. You have you have a lot of images inside, and you control using the position of CSS, right? But this one came up with other things. And the thing is, this one takes effort. So to put that, it takes effort. I'll do 5, but the question can be only 1 to 2 actions, right? So CSS is but you already know the everything. And this also is overhead. And often breaking the cache meters. What is the cache meter? What? To search is cache. The other way, you want to change the small thing, right? So you want to change it small steps. We'll read down everything again. It should be taken away cache meters. Give you this. So with all that problem is all work on this performance. Here, Google started to invent sometimes. So in 2009, Google announced that they were working on the it's introduced a few to this with one website. And on May 2015, the decision was published. Published on top of the Stephen protocol. Now the Stephen protocol is looking at so it is the line that makes you do. Okay. I actually don't know. One connection to one single connection. Then I start to say, I'm using multiplexing. Multiplexing is allowed to have a streaming. More streaming in this multiplexing connection. And then actually you can send the request the same. You don't need to wait. All them to be the same. They see every request go off stream and we can even do 100 stream. That's enough for us. So we can handle it with no connection of the things to go on. So the electricity connection of the electricity, it is also function, which is very good picture. But before we already have a compression for the value. But then that is the wrong with cookies and the things that we do for security to prevent someone to use our network. But start to go, the compression here is very the network watch is very critical picture that is CPU. Does it look like network watch? Okay, server watch allows the server to send more response and higher. For example, I have the home page. The server knows if I use the home page, with this home page, I need this JavaScript and this. So instead of getting the client to start request, well, I will send them with the first request. And then when the browser response starts at all, he will see, okay, I have already the CSS JavaScript, so he will not send the request again. But it's a request start. But this one is very critical because if those files you are sending it now, it's still captured you are using all the backwards, right? It is something that you will need to send because it's already cached. So it's a good feature, but it's critical. Okay, this protocol is has a right. According to STP archive, in 2019, it became the major protocol of the internet. So 53% of the other users was internet, it becomes the first two. In 2022, 77% of the using which is for me it's very huge success. We have IP version 6, Python 1 is using it, 45% after the last 2 years. This one just 2015 and has the big impact. And that's why it's one big success because all the people are supported. On the client side, we have the browser, right? So almost all the browsers support the HTTP2. And when we talk about third servers, almost server has been supporting the Zomo, AWS, G2, and all this can support HTTP2. Okay, and the beauty here is if you are using CDN, you can just endpoint with one checkbox. This is for we are in AWS. This will be okay. So this one will just check to enable that you can also picture all the things that make the look at another approach. This is how we enhance it from HTTP 2. You remember HTTP 1 was not like this, right? Almost better. You can take all of these ones TCP function. You can establish it by one. Critical is a little condition. You send all the requests without any problem. You get them entirely, but you still take the order. So, I'm good, right? HTTP makes it from we have one connection. We have sending other person parallel, no complaint. Is it really no complaint? Is that clear? So, yeah, HTTP makes no complaint, but we still have a very broken we have TCP connection. TCP connection to function at the same time, right? So you have three functions and then you have the DNS handshake as well, which is taking a lot of time. So we need to fix that. Little bit. So the other thing that is coming up as in the most of I will not it's I to be careful. I need to send the phone records and see if the server can handle, and then if it can handle, I can send more, I'll get more and so on. So that's TCP is very low, but because it doesn't need to make the server like putting some packets in the field or based on and so on. So the other one is when it's HTTP2, when we have a bucket, when we have still 5, 7, 5 again for body style. So style we have as three, and we have a bucket, still and also body headers. If you lost something from here, same 5 in the headers have defaults, what will happen? What happens? Okay. So in what will happen? The for the I will resend it again. So this is resending here, starting from here. So TCP is the order, right? I said 5. I need to see before I wrote the other thing. So since I need it, but still is a little complete part, right? So it will wait. So there is a queue here in TCP. We will wait, putting this in a queue, putting this in a queue. Although you see it's already not the part. You can use it. This one is message. I need to still the right. So today, the TCP waiting for me to complete the other one. This is a big problem, right? If you are waiting in TCP, you already fixed it in HTTP, like there, you are not getting simple, right? In TCP, I respect the model. I need to reply before that. In fact, the company, I'll wait to complete my job first. After waiting, I'm taking back is well process, but it can wait for 2 packets. If 2 packets drop, will be worse and which is going back, which is broken that right? So the solution for that is just get rid of TCP or improving it. We just have to say so move away from it. TCP has been moving away from that. So we move to HTTP3. Quick. Quick was local again. So it's based on UP. Based on we consider then you think your but go to inventing everything. Because why? Okay, local has what you need to listen right? You have lots of text. You have to prove the client. You can get around that whenever you want to experiment and Google will come that you website that we have. Okay, so what actually aims to less the ECD and the outbound on 6 June 2022 last year. Internet infrastructure of the HTTP as a proposed standard. Why proposed? Because it keeps the process why the sub. Okay, standard just what to do? Okay, HTTPS simplicity, so the related ones and Unity. We still have HTTP as well as HTTP whatever way also using streaming. So don't have it that we out that is with the signal square just the Unity. So if you look into that, we have all the browsers supported, but it's not by default available. So customers will not go to the browser. So what is people have experience with that go on. So also the browsers supported. And also all the servers citizens support this app. Here I thought it would be you because it solves a lot of problems and it will make our start faster. I have to finish. So fine. We have two levels of HTTP. The first one is the latency. Your server and your client, how far they are, is very limited because we are limited with the speed of light. You cannot go beyond that because things are okay. So you can move on. So we try to make ourselves by our customers. We can focus on this with HTTP, we will just we don't need to read because there's no connection established, right? So just you the things and feedback. How many parts is very crucial because the build is made will leave your customer without a lot of different build services. The website is so if you will see a lot of improvement on those two areas. So latency as well as the, how many bytes you can transfer over the internet. You will see a lot of confusion as coming later, but you will see a lot of enhancement that this community won't happen. Again, you have question. We don't have any questions.
It's just 2 minutes because the AWS they have to close now as well. So we need just to have a we do like question.
So that was your first class AWS networking.
Any question? Ready? You guys understand everything?
Okay, we have one there, one question. Okay, maybe you start here. Give the mic.
They different way of things they use
Wait, they implemented their own. This is really right. Really, you can send the as I told you, as I showed you in the background, so this is the TLS handshake, but they do have their own.
what's the like kind of what's the
And so again, I thought it's not like maybe you can lose some, right? But with HTTP, you cannot lose because if you lose some, it will be broken. So on top of that, you need equipment, you need to integrate so that you need okay. So if that works, I need to know.
Thanks for the question. We have one more.
It's quite similar to what you explained just now. My question very specific because we use you as the cheater. How does that affect the rendering? How does how is the when you use a quick result? Yes.
I doubt that.
I mean, it's-
Well, you will be.
So it is a competition.
Yeah.